long ago, in a yet unseen time, in a faraway place, the same song of humanity still sang. I love this. I just love it. I've never read Trigun before. I come from watching the old anime of Trigun, and so far, this book has given me essentially nothing new that I don't already know from the old anime. At the very least, I have seen a version of everything that happens in this before. And I still couldn't help but sit there with this big shit-eating grin on my face the whole time I was reading. I mean, you open this up and literally the first thing that you see is this, and I'm just like, fucking yes, please. Anyway, we open up the story with Vash in a cafe, and he gets attacked by a gang, and it's all right here. All the humor, everything's right up front. We get the ketchup gag, we get the dart gun gag. It's all just right here from the get-go. And the joy of just the art is phenomenal. The joy that can be brought just from the change in the way that Vash's face is drawn from panel to panel is mind-blowing. To be honest, something about Vash just kind of warms my heart in general. And now here come Meryl and Millie. And if there's one glaring difference between this and the anime, it's just that we're not wasting any time here. I guess essentially the opening of it does feel a little bit similar with Vash and a gunfight and the action and everything, but the slow reveal and the who is he and who is Vash and what's going on and all the mysteries that are kind of baked into the anime, just not here at all. And as much as I loved all of that in the anime, I don't miss it at all here. So far, I'm just really enjoying the streamlined version of the story that this gives. And I don't know if that's because the streamlined version suits the medium of manga better, or if it's just because I'm essentially retreading some story here, and I'm just kind of appreciating the abbreviated fashion that we're taking to get there. Anyway, as for the manga, it gets going, and it gets going at a breakneck pace. I mean, the action gets going, and it just doesn't stop. It doesn't let up, it just keeps going. After Meryl shows up, the town tries to take Vash hostage. Then the Nebraska gang family shows up. And can we just pause here for one quick second and appreciate just how hilarious it is anytime Meryl screams into her bullhorn for any reason whatsoever. It got to the point where I didn't even need to read the words on the page. All I just had to see was the large exaggerated font and her little face screaming into the bullhorn, and I would start to chuckle. It's the little things in life. Anyway, Vash takes out the Nebraska family, or gang, or whatever they are, and we're off to the sand steamer. Hey, kitty. Meow. And this is by far the biggest section of the book. And it's great. Like, of the 12 chapters that are in this book, 6 of them are this sand steamer section. And it really suits this section well. Like, I think in the anime it was like 2 episodes, and in here it's half of the entire book. Like, it really gives this particular section room to breathe, and it's a good section for it, and it's just everything about it just really works. And also, side note here, is it just me, or is Vash's attitude towards women a little bit different in the manga? Either that or I just haven't got to him, like, pining after the women in this like he did in the anime, but in this one he just seems to have, at least so far, a slightly different, I don't know, a more hands-off approach to dealing with the ladies. I don't know. We'll see as we move forward. Anyway, at this point we get probably our first really good glimpse at Rem when Vash has a dream about her. And this is just one of those little pieces of the puzzle that is part of the greatness that is Trigun. With all of the bombastic action and all of the comedy and all the levity and the lightness and just the hilarity and so much fun that's built into it, it's really the soft moments and the tender moments and the quieter moments that soft underbelly to the story that really has captivated me probably more than any other part of the story. And seeing this just really got me excited because those are the parts that I'm really looking forward to. And I really feel like those are the parts that really just elevate this to the level of greatness. Or at the very least, the other versions of this story. And this isn't even the first one we've had, as in touching moments. It's just the first real one to feature Rem. But to be honest, it's given us something, even if it was just a little panel or a little picture or a little something to really bring us down and keep us grounded every, I don't know, half a dozen pages or so. Even if it was just an expression on somebody's face. Anyway, here comes the Bad Lad Gang. And the leader of the Bad Lad Gang looks just as ridiculous as ever. If there's one thing I do appreciate, it is the literal one-to-one art style being copied in the anime from this. Like, there's no shift. You know, and all those people who really like the new Trigun Stampede and whatnot, I gotta say, this is definitely the peak art style of Trigun and of Vash. This, the new stuff in Stampede could never hold a candle to this. It's just not even close. And I say that is in just general art style. This is king. It just is. And anyway, Vash gets shot and accidentally hurts one of the henchmen, and then he ends up trying to save the henchman, and he's obsessing over and worrying about if he's gonna die, and he's trying to patch him back up after he hurts him, which is just another scene that I've always loved, and I'm really happy that it appears here just as it should. Also, I can't help but notice here that in this version of it, Rem's name is different, and I even kind of jumped online to be like, what is going on here? Is it a translation thing? What's up with Rem's name? Why does it not match up? And I can't even find anything online that refers to her as Rem Sebrum, which is in this, and it appears in both my book and the digital form that I downloaded. So the fact that you can't even find reference to her as Rem Sebrum online, and she is just Rem Severum everywhere you look, just shows how potent the anime has become, as in permeating the consciousness of, you know, pop culture, because this name doesn't even exist on the internet that I can find, really. It's been erased by the anime. That's crazy. But anyway, this scene leads to the little boy yelling at Vash for trying to save the guy, and basically this is ridiculous. They're out to get us, we need to get them, who cares if the guy dies, we've all done bad things, we've all betrayed people, etc. And Vash just looks at him and says, then start over. Your ticket to the future is always blank. I love this. I love this so much. I just love it. Anyway, it all comes down to Vash and the leader of the Bad Lad Gang, and they agree to a duel that Vash wins. Actually, not really. He kind of just falls over and rips his own wounds open, to which case the bad guy just agrees to walk away and let it all be because, you know, honor, which is just awesome. But now the steamer's out of control, and the only way to save everybody on board is to get the plant back under control. And at this point, we get our first glimpse of what a plant looks like in this, and we even get confirmation that Vash is either one of them or heavily tied to them, and we get to see them basically in their angelic form. Which, to be fair, is made way more clear in this manga than it ever was made in the anime. Like, just in this book alone, we end up getting images of them in their angelic form, and we get an explanation that they were the power sources of the ships from the siege ships, and we get little, panels explaining that there are different types of them, and some are power-producing plants, and some of them are agricultural plants that produce, green, lush gardens and whatnot. This is more information in just this book than I think we got in all of the entire anime. I mean, you would end up finishing the anime and be left sitting there going, "What the fuck was a plant? I mean, it's still pretty cryptic here in the manga, at least as of right now, but I'm just saying, you got like no information in the other version of this. And once again, if I'm being totally honest, I do kind of prefer the way that it's being handled in the manga than I did in the anime, which is kind of crazy to say because I've said so many times on this channel that Trigun the anime is one of my favorite pieces of media ever. So for this to just come out swinging and for me to just be like, oh yeah, this is kind of awesome, isn't it? Like maybe even better, I'm impressed. I don't want to say it's better. I'm literally like 12 chapters into like a very long story. I don't know why I'm pointing back there like I have a whole bunch of books. I've only got 3. This is going to be mostly digital purchases. Dark Horse has got our back though because they're coming out with the deluxe editions. Thank you, Dark Horse. Anyway, all of that aside, Vash gets the plant back under control, saves the sand steamer, saves everybody on it, and then we get the scene with the boy on top of the sand steamer singing an old song, which is the same song that Rem used to sing. And just this book as a book in and of itself really was kind of a wonderful little read, because after that big long section that we just got of all of that, I don't know, sand steamer stuff, and it's so good and there's like some real meat to be had in there, then it goes right back to the exact same format that it had at the opening with that same ridiculous, crazy, bombastic action. We even get Nebraska Family 2.0, the all-female edition this time, and it kind of goes right back into that loop of content. It is so just satisfying to read. And of course, you can't have a side story in Trigun without having like the family dynamic and the old people trying to hang on to their farm, and then their son's coming in and he's trying to take the farm away from them, but he's at the same time he's trying to save them from these other criminals. And in the end, the son's gonna steal the deed and get it away from him just to realize that they signed it over to him. It's just everything that happens, it just balances that bombastic. It balances the action. It balances the comedy. It balances the heart. It really is just the most epic balancing act of tones that I've ever seen, and I don't think it failed at juggling a single one of them. It didn't drop the ball once. I am super impressed. I love this. I love this. I absolutely love it. And I'm of course going to have to give this a high score. And I feel like actually I've given nothing but high scores to manga lately. But in all fairness, I am still relatively new to this whole reading manga thing. And I have been taking mostly suggestions from my YouTube community, and they have been pretty adamant as to which ones they wanted. And I think I've just been getting some of the really top-end recommendations of at least, you know, the real cream of the crop as far as manga are concerned. So I've really just been lucky that my initial first half a dozen read-throughs or so have been such high-quality mangas. It's been wonderful. Either way, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sit on a 9. I might have actually enjoyed it a little bit more than that, but I like to not go too high too fast. I tend to not like to paint myself into a corner, but goddamn if this wasn't some really good stuff. This might end up ultimately being right up there with some of my favorites, to be honest. At least if it can just maintain what it is and what I love about it, really. Anyway, everybody, as always, the link for my Patreon is in the description below. The link for my Discord's in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.